beautiful people. So today we're going to talk about Marine Kingdom. All right. All right. So we're going to get into it. All right. Marine Kingdom. Now, in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 22. So I'm just going to prove to you that because there's some people who don't understand that, we got that God made many dominions and thrones. He's made many realms. He's made, there's creatures in the sea. There's a whole habitation in the sea, just like there's a civilization on earth. There's a civilization in the sea. There's a civilization in the air. There's a civilization in the forest. There is, you understand, there's forest spirits, there's water spirits, and there's spirits of the air. Human beings need to stop being so vain and think that God only made them. Now let's get into it. Genesis chapter 1 verse 22. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters in the seas. So that's him talking to the inhabitants in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. Now Psalms 135 and 6. Whatsoever the Lord pleased, that he did in heaven and in earth, in the seas, and in all deep places. So the seas, you understand, the marine kingdom, and all deep places is talking about hail. You understand? Shiloh. Now Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. So we understand that if you live on earth and you think you're the only earthling, there are inhabitants in the sea. So Revelations 12 and 12 not only shows you that, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. So there's inhabitants of the sea as well. For the devil has come down to you having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. But you have to understand that the sea is the spiritual realm. There's physical beings in the sea, and there's spiritual beings in the sea. Like mermaids are spiritual beings. They're not good. All right. So I'm going to go in the Bible, because the Bible is very much a spiritual book. And if you don't understand what it's speaking about, you're not going to understand the entities of what it's talking about and who it's talking about. Now, Psalm 77 and 16. This is David praying against the powers of the marine kingdom. The waters saw thee, O God, and the waters saw thee. They were afraid. The deeps also were troubled. Now, I'm sorry, this is David praying against marine. Psalm 74 and 13. Thou divides the seas by thy strength, and breaks the heads of the dragons in the waters. So we had to understand that there's dragons that live in the water. The serpentine spirits live in the water. The spirit of lust comes from the kingdom of marine. The spirit of the dog comes from the kingdom of marine. Adder comes from the kingdom of marine. That's just another way of saying a serpent, a snake. Now, Job 38 and 30. The waters are hid as with a stone, and the face of the deep is frozen. All right. That's God when he punishes the people in the marine. So certain prayer points you should know. Now, Psalms 91 and 13, thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet. So we know the dragon is in the water, but we have to know about Leviathan. So do you understand who Leviathan is? Because Leviathan is in the sea, right? That crooked serpent, Leviathan. So now we're going to talk about Job 41 and 1. Can thou draw out Leviathan with a hook, or his tongue with a cord with thou lets down? Now Psalms 104 and 26. We're going to find out who is this Leviathan. There goes the ships there is that Leviathan whom thou hast made to play therein. Now, Isaiah chapter 27 and 1 is going to tell you exactly who Leviathan is. In that day, the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, that piercing serpent. So what is Leviathan? A piercing serpent. And when God comes, God's glittering sword, if you read Deuteronomy and if you read Isaiah, talks about the Most High's glittering sword. He's going to punish and pierce Leviathan, that crooked serpent in the midst of the sea. And he shall slay the dragon that's in the sea. So we know that Leviathan is in the sea, the serpent, and we know that the dragon is in the sea, and God's going to slay them. All right. So that's what I wanted to let you understand. Now, who else had their encounters with the marine? We know David did. because the power of the dog, the spirit of dog, comes from the kingdom of marine as well. But we also know Jonah, Uncle Jonah, had his experience with the kingdom of marine when Jonah chapter 1 verse 12, and he said unto them, take me up and cast me forth into the sea, so shall the sea be calm unto you, for I know that for my sake there is great tempest upon you. So who was troubling Jonah? It was the marine kingdom, the spirit of marine, because he disobeyed the Most High. And that big fish, where do you think it came from? Okay, God sent a fish to swallow Jonah for 3 days and 3 nights. And who are always complaining against you for God to punish you? Those evil spirits, just like Satan, their father, they're just like their father. They accuse the brethren every day for God to punish them. So that's what happened. Who else had their encounter with the spirit of marine? The apostles, many of times when they were traveling by ships, as in Matthew chapter 8:24. And behold,